Guys, we are back again with another video. Today is gonna be a kind of different one. Not really doing anything in game. Really just gonna go and kind of hang out for a little bit and talk about something that I've seen kind of a lot on YouTube this past like half year. I've seen a few videos pop up here and there of the topic that we're gonna discuss today. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that I want to say and preface this with is that I'm not gonna bash on anybody or like say that anybody who's made a video about this game or whatever is a bad person or like the video's bad or whatever. I just wanted to kind of hop in and get my 2 cents on the subject, which is AQW bad? And I have a lot of things to go over, and there's a lot of points that I've been seeing in the comments and things of these videos, and just being, playing the game for so long, just knowing about the game and like seeing all these things that people have been saying makes me kind of want to talk about it. So just going to do that for a little bit today. So the first thing that I want to go over is the points and arguments that I hear a lot for why the game is bad, and then we're going to kind of dissect those and kind of go over, are they true, are they right, are they wrong, is there reasoning behind it, is there not, or like what. So the first one that we have is the art. The graphics are bad, it's 2D and things like that. So people have an issue with the fact that the game isn't like super stylized, it isn't 3D, it's not all up in your face, it's not like console games or like computer games that you see nowadays. It's flat, it's 2D, it's a flash game. Yeah, it's flat. So it was made on, you know, flash art installations and things like that. And it's not, that doesn't mean it's bad. Art is art, you know what I mean? Like there's this picture, for instance, that's a 3D model of a like an NPC in the game on a painting in a 2D game. You know what I mean? Like there's 3D art in the 2D game. So, and that's not, obviously the paintings aren't the only instance. So it's like, I don't know. The art thing I don't get. I guess I do, in a sense of like it's not everybody's like taste of art, but that doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I mean? So let's just get that one out of the way. I guess that's just my preference. I don't think that 2D art is the best, but I know for a fact that this kind of art isn't bad. It's just not. Um, and just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. And that goes for a lot of things too. So moving on to the next point that I see a lot is that it's a flash game. It's a bad game because it's a flash game. Again, I don't really understand this because so so what? And two, it's not like it's run on Flash anymore. They made their own client, they made their own engine for this game. They put a lot of work into it to keep it up and running, and I feel like that's not something that every game developing company would do for their game, especially something that's so old. Um, and that's a good segue into the next point, which is that it's such an old game. People kind of tend to hate on games that or are old and have been like aging throughout the years, and especially flash games. Obviously they're not going to keep up with the trends of your typical um, console game, or like something like, I don't know, Black Desert Online, or like Fortnite or something crazy like that, because obviously that's just not how this game is going to work. They're not just going to switch from a 2D platform to going straight into something like Black Desert. That's just not how it's going to be, and that's why things like Black Desert Online exist, so people who enjoy the 3D rendering and 3D models and all the flashy stuff can go and enjoy that stuff on those platforms. um, Again, that doesn't make this game bad. I don't see where you're coming from in that kind of a sense if you have that opinion. I'm not saying that everybody does, and I'm not saying that everybody is hating on this game or anything like that. It's not even like there's a bunch of talk about it. I just happened to see a video or two that I wanted to kind of jump in and talk about as well. So moving on, it has bad game mechanics. Okay, I do agree on this point. Compared to, like, all of this stuff is like, comparing to other games, but let's just stop for a second, stop comparing, and just look at the game mechanics as they are. Yeah, this game doesn't have the best game mechanics, and they could definitely upgrade them, and they have been. If you just look at the options, um, just this past like couple months, they've been adding in tons and tons and tons of new additions to the game mechanics, like quest relogins, pinning, things like that. Things that you used to have to like install bots for in third-party programs for. Now they've just added that straight in, so they do it like through their own engine, so it's legitimate and people aren't cheating to get what they want. Things like that. It's come a long way, I feel like, since it came out, and people are either claiming that the game mechanics are bad because they haven't played it in a long time, or they still think that the game mechanics are bad. And uh, I can partially agree to that. Like, the game mechanics are not the best. It's slow, it's clunky a little bit, and I mean, just quite frankly, across the board, they're not the smoothest. But at the same time, they are constantly getting patched and updated and things like that, especially lately. Like, things have been turning around. So I can give that to people if they have that opinion of the game mechanics being flawed and that's why they don't like the game. That's fine. So, yeah, moving on. The community, the AQ community, is full of botters and people that bot. Okay, so speaking of botting, um, I just don't think that the community is full of them. I'm sure that there are a lot, and I'm sure that you probably have someone on your friends list that has botted at some point in their life, and maybe you have too. And I'm not saying that you're a terrible person or that people who bot are terrible people. That's just not true. And so I don't want you to think that that's where I'm going with this, but I don't think the community is full of them. I feel like a majority of people, if you went and asked people, what is your take on botting? They either have like one of three opinions. Like, one, they either think it's terrible and they think that it's like a detriment to the game. Two, they don't care. Or three, they've done it themselves, so they don't care. Nobody is out here like being, overly, oh hey, I'm a botter, like come bot with me. Like, that's not how this game is. Everybody knows that botting is not okay. It's against the TOS, and like botting, honestly, it's just a lame excuse to say that you don't like the game, because it's just not a big part of the game at all. And if you feel like you need to run a bot for this game, then that says more about you, I feel like, than the state of the game. So anyway, moving on from that point, um, the game feels like you need to pay to win. There is no aspect about this game that is pay to win. I don't understand why people think that about this game so much. Just because there's so many things that you can buy doesn't mean that those things make you win in the game. The real things that you get in this game that make you good or strong, or like your character strong, is things that you need to farm for, that you need to grind for, that you need to go out and get. You can't buy them. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that, honestly, that point isn't 100% true because of this, and this is a good segue into the next point. The reason why I say that what I just said wasn't 100% true is because this is the Doom wheel, and you can buy tickets here for like real life money that transfers to the game currency, and you can buy uh, spins for this wheel, and every spin you get a ticket, and once you get 1,000 tickets you can get one item for free. Any item in the game that's ever been in the game or that is currently in the game that wasn't on Hero Mart, one of their websites for distributing merch, you can get anything that you want. It doesn't matter if it's rare or not. And a lot of people have a problem with that, myself included. I do think that the Wheel of Doom has like decreased the meaning of items in this game. The rarity system has gone like down the drain in terms of like meaning, you know, because let's just go for an example, because I have gotten an item of donated awesomeness to get one of my own items for free, and I'll tell you right now that just because you see someone walking around with this icy naval commander doesn't mean that they are a player that was around when the item came out anymore. That is just not how it works anymore. Rare items like don't even have a rare tag anymore because they aren't rare in a sense. Like, if you made an account today and then spent $140, you could get this armor right here for free, or not for free, for the 1,000 or $140, but um that's a problem that a lot of people have with this game, is that they feel like if you pay enough money, you can get anything that you want. And in a way, it's true, but only getting one item at a time is a way to kind of mitigate that. And I think that although that is like the best solution that they could have come up with in terms of dealing with the wheel and people's frustrations with rare items being not so rare anymore, even though it's the best solution that I feel like they could have come up with, it's still a solution that came for something that wasn't needed, if that makes sense. Like this doom wheel wasn't needed, and they came up with a solution for it, even though in the beginning the solution wouldn't have been needed if they just didn't implement this system. So yes, that is something that I also have a problem with. Even though I've used it, I don't necessarily think it's the best thing in terms of like building on the community and building on the aspects of the game that are really niche and like what draws people to this game, which is the rarity aspect, the collection aspect, having things that other people don't have and showing them off. And so adding something like this into the game where you can just pay a certain amount of money to get anything that someone else has, well, almost anything, just kind of decreases the value of a lot of the things that people have. And yeah, so I agree with that. But moving on. Um, the game and the community is dead. It's not an active game, and that's why people think it's bad. Um, I don't think so. I think that this game is pretty active in terms of its overall like lifespan. So I think from all the time I've been playing, the most people I've ever seen on the server at one time is like 12 or 13,000. And right now, there's 3,000 in the middle of the day on a Monday, which is fair, honestly. 4,000 people for like a Monday, or 3,200 people for a Monday afternoon, like, school's getting out or whatever. People are still in school, whatever. I feel like that's pretty average. And I don't feel like that's a dead game. I feel like that's a community. It's like a community inside of a game. You can tell that this game has always had a community because of the amount of players throughout its lifespan has always been consistent. It's always been pretty on par with how it was at the beginning of launch when it came out. Meaning like it's fluctuating, its highs have been like 12, 13,000, and its lows have been like 1,000, 2,000. It's averaging in between there all the time. And on Fridays, it's always like more packed. Weekends, it's always more packed. Servers are always like this server right here, the main one, and this one here, especially on weekends, are both always full. You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's a dead game necessarily. I just think that it's an old game, and people don't realize that when a game gets old, less people play it and less people like talk about it. And so that, I don't know. I just That's my take on that point. The next point that we have here that I see a lot as to why the game is bad is that the company doesn't care about the game or the community. So people think that AE doesn't care about the community or the game that they've made, which I just don't think is true. I think that AE has put a lot of work into making this game a good game and making this game something that the community can enjoy, and they've been constantly making updates throughout this whole year. And I think that that's something that we gotta look at and can't disrespect, because no matter how you look at it, uh, AE loves this community. They literally are so interactive with this community 24/7 on Twitter and Discord and things like that. They have, hosting chats where the CEO of AE, Artix Krager, he goes and does live chats with the community and people from Twitter. He'll go on Discord and have like 20 people in a discussion, and they'll just talk about upcoming events, things that they need to change, things that they could change, past events, and all tons of stuff about the game. Um, every year they come out with a new calendar with community art and artist art on it. They have new classes coming out every year. They have new events every Friday, new items come into the game every week from community artists and artists on their team. I just don't understand how people can think that this game is dead, or that this game is lacking love from the developers, when every day there's something new going on. Um, so I just think that people that do have that opinion don't play the game, and that's just the bottom line of it. Moving on, quests don't save in between sessions. There's no game memory. So people really, really don't like this game, um, because one of the game mechanics, this ties into one of the other points, but one of the game mechanics is that you have a temporary inventory. And so when you, like, let's just say we join Nolgath really quick, and we'll go kill some Mackais. We'll get some stuff in our temporary inventory that says Mackai killed or whatever. Um, but if I log out, did I even get anything? I can't remember. Anyway, you'll go and kill enemies, right? Like, everybody knows that you need 50 Mackai to go and kill, or like go and enter the Arch Portal at Citadel to go to Tercess and talk to Nolgath and all that. You need enemies killed 0 out of 50 or whatever, 50 out of 50. But if you log out and then you go back in to the game, that won't be in your temporary inventory anymore, and people really don't like that. I don't understand why, because if you just play the game for long enough, you'll realize that not all items are temporary items. There are way more items that are permanent items in your inventory until you get rid of them than there are temporary items. The temporary items are there to track quests, and the point of getting those um, temporary items for the quest is so you can turn the quest in. So like I had if I had enough essence of Nolgath, right, or essence of defeat or whatever. Where is it? All right, yeah, so Undead Legend Rune. If I went and killed the Undead Legend right now and then didn't turn this in and then logged out and came back and tried to do this quest again, this wouldn't be here. Even though I killed the Undead Legend, this wouldn't be here. And the reason why is because this is a repeatable quest and there is one requirement needed before you turn it in order to get the item. So like if you logged in and you already had these unidentified 13, you can't just turn this quest in and grab it with nothing else. You, no matter what login session you're in, you need to go and kill this in order to um, receive a reward and this XP and gold. And I feel like that makes sense. It's not a bad system. Having temporary inventory in order to track quests before you turn them in as like a necessary component is just a part of the quest. Who finishes a quest, completes it, and doesn't turn it in, and then just logs out, and then gets pissed when they log back in and they see, oh no, my quest didn't turn in, and it's not there anymore. The items that I got for it aren't there anymore. Like most of the items that you get for quests are gonna be there. The ones that go into your temp inventory are super easy to get. That's why they're temporary, and they'll go away if you log out because they're super simple to get. Like, if I go and do a quest line that says, oh, kill 15 of these monsters or kill 5 of these monsters, and then turn this quest in and come back to me and we'll talk, and then you get the next quest, right? If I go and kill those 15 monsters and log out and log back in, why would I be upset that they're not there? I just logged out before I turned the quest in. That's stupid. And second of all, those monsters are super easy to kill. That's why they're in your temporary inventory, and you can go and kill them again to turn the quest in. So that point is just super, super weird. I don't understand why people are so upset about that. The whole thing of getting quest rewards and getting the amount that you need is so you can turn the quest in. Who gets the amount they need and then logs out? Anyway, moving on. Um, moving on. Quest lines are too complicated. Yeah, I just can't agree with this one again because if you do think that these quest lines are complicated, that says again more about you than it does about the game. The quests are so beyond easy. Let me just go and look at a quest for my house really quick. This is one of the items I have in here. If I just click on this really quick, go here. So I need to go get the shiniest thing by killing the Sneeveltron boss in the boxes area. So that's really hard. That's really hard. It tells me who I need to kill, what I need to get from them, like what the drop is that I need to get, and where. So let's go do that. Let's just see how hard this is to follow. So I'm in boxes. Let's go find Sneeveltron. Oh, there he is. Let's go kill him till we get the shiny thing, or the shiniest thing. And then we'll see how hard this quest is to track, honestly. Because right now, it is seeming pretty hard. I wonder if I even grabbed the quest. I didn't. Oh no, we got cubes. Oh man, these mechanics are really hard. I guess I'll take them. Okay, they added to the bank because they're in my bank, not in my inventory. That's a really nice mechanic that they added because they didn't used to have that. But that's what I'm saying. These quests are made for children, literally children. They're not hard to follow at all. At all. Um, so I can't agree with that one. Quest lines are too complicated. I don't think so. Um, Non-members can't use member items, but can receive them. Duh. Yeah. I don't understand this one again. So if you get a member item, but you're a non-member, you can't use it, and people are upset about that. Yeah, no shit, you can't use it because it's a member item and you're not a member. And obviously, if you go and kill a boss that holds in its inventory member items along with non-member items, it's going to drop some of those member items sometimes because obviously you're not the only person killing this boss. There's going to be members killing it and non-members killing it. So there needs to be member items and non-member items. They respawn so you can kill them again and again and get all the loot that you want. I I just can't seem to understand why people are so like if I was a non-member, I can accept this, but I can't equip it wherever it is. I would be able to accept it, but I wouldn't be able to equip it like I can here. Um, but that's fine because, like I just explained, you're not the only one killing this boss. There's going to be everybody in the game killing this boss at some point, and it's going to drop member and non-member items because that's how the game works. There's members and non-members. Every boss has member items and non-member items. Every boss has some AC items and some non-AC items. Not every boss, but like everything that they come out with for events will have member and non-member, AC and non-AC items. That's just how it works. So if you want those member items, then upgrade. If you don't, then get non-member items. There's tons of enemies and tons of items in the game for you to go and get. Um, Upgrading to member. Oh, okay. I remember writing this one down because it stood out to me when I was watching one of these videos. And this is a direct quote from the mouth of the person who made the video on why he thought AQ was so bad. Um, it's cheap, but it's not nothing. And he's talking about upgrading to member. It's cheap, but it's not nothing. And he was talking about the AC packages. Um, yeah, cheap, but not nothing. That's crazy to me. Who says that about anything? Like, you don't walk into you won't walk into a 7-Eleven and be like, "Oh man, these slushies are cheap, but they're not nothing, you know. I wish I could get them for free." Like, how do you expect the game to stay alive without having membership fees and bonus package fees, but yet you call the game dead because they don't fucking do enough and they're not active enough, and you also think that the game is pay to win, but it's cheap, but it's not nothing. It's just super contradictory, super weird. Every game has payment systems, every game has membership fees, everything ever has had that system for a long time. So I just can't agree with that point. And like you said, the game's upgrade system is super cheap. You can get a year's membership for $60. Like I don't understand. But whatever. I guess that's not cheap enough. Um, Enhancing is too hard. It's too complicated. So I see a lot of people saying that the again mechanics in this game are too hard, too complicated, which I just don't understand. What do you need? You need to enhance a weapon. How do you enhance a weapon? You need to get an enhancement scroll from the shop. Shops. Oh no, where is it? Oh, enhancements. Oh no. What kind of enhancement do I need? That's really complicated. Let's look at the class that I want to enhance. What does it say? Recommended enhancement. Fighter. Oh my god. That's super hard to get. Shops. Enhancement. Fighter. Oh wait, I'm level 50 plus. Let's go to level 50 plus fighter. That's crazy. Oh no, weapons, armors, helms, capes, the highest level one's at the top and it goes down number by number. Like, listen, it's made for children. Once again, made for children. So if you can't get through the simple mechanics, although bad, they're simple. So I can't agree with this point. Simple mechanics, even though they're bad. Definitely not complicated. Um, yeah, and then you just click apply, apply, enhance. It's super duper simple. So again, I just can't agree with that point. The game is boring and there's nothing to do anymore. I hear a lot of people saying this when they get to like max level or something like that, for instance, or like close to max level. Um, I guess I get it because like in the middle of like in between doing events or like whatever, there isn't too much to do other than you just go and AFK in Yulgar because that's where everybody's at. Even though nobody talks, that's where everybody's at. And I can agree with that point to an extent. When you do get to max level and you have like the best class and you have the necrotic sword of doom and you have like all these different things, all these different badges, it does feel like it gets boring, but that isn't because the game doesn't have anything to do or offer to you to do. It's because of this. It's because people just AFK in here, flex their sets, flex their, old accounts or whatever, and they don't talk. People don't talk because they don't know anybody, because the guild system wasn't established enough early on, and the only guilds that are active now are super close, tight knit, and they won't accept new people unless they know someone in the guild, blah blah blah. So I feel like people think that the game's boring because they don't have anybody to talk to and they don't have any friends that play the game. If you think the game is that boring, get your friends to play the game and make a guild on your own, and then you'll have people to talk to and you'll have people to play the events with. It's pretty simple. And if that is hard for you, join a guild. Join someone's guild that you like and that you have a connection with in the game, and find people to be friends with, to talk to, and go do events with them. It's not that hard, but I feel like, people do have an issue with that, and I can agree. Like, it is not the easiest to go and make friends in this game. It's not the easiest to go and like join a good guild that's active and, has like a Discord and does giveaways and things like that, because not all guilds can do that, because not everybody knows how to run a guild like that. So you got to find people to go and play with. You got to find friends that you like can talk to easily, and that's not the best choice or the easiest choice for everybody. So that's, I think, why people have a big issue with this game. Um, Main points from that I mean to take away, or mean for you guys to take away, is that the game isn't dead. It's just that nobody talks to each other in the game unless they're in the same guild. So you just got to find a good guild, which is hard. I can agree. Um, New players cannot enjoy the game. I just don't think this is true. How do you think people started playing the game? They made a new account. Like, it's not that hard to understand. It's like saying new players can't enjoy any game because they're new to the game. Like, it's not hard. It's a kid's game. Just figure it out. And if people don't like it, then they won't like it. And if people figure it out and they like it, then they'll like it. Like, it's the same exact process for any game. Um, so I can't agree with that. Every new player that joins the game and likes it ends up playing the game. I feel like it's the same thing with every game. Um, Too much grinding for items. People think that new players can't enjoy the game because they have to grind for items, meaning like you have to go and kill monsters and enemies and gather items over and over and over and over and over and over again just to get one item, that you merge or something like Void High Lord or like some really, really nice class. People don't like the fact that you have to spend a lot of time getting materials together to turn in to get this item that you wanted. And I don't really understand that because if you have played the game, once again, if you have played the game long enough, you'll understand that that's what the game is about. It's about collecting, it's about showing off, and it's about, you know, going out and killing things. It's not about like scores or like medals or like, well, it's sort of about medals because there's character page badges, but it's not about like scores. It's not about kill death ratio. It's not about like customizing your weapon or anything like that. It's about customizing your character, and it's about collecting items and being able to show those items off to other people and having fun with that. um, so grinding for items is confusing to me because if you don't want to if you don't want to grind for the item, don't. And if you want the item, grind for it. That's the point of having these like top tier weapons and stuff like the Necrotic Sword of Doom or Void High Lord or Legion Revenant or Dragon of Time. The point of having those top tier classes and items is because they're hard to get. That's the whole point. That's why you get a badge for getting them, because it takes a long time and they're hard to get. Um, so if you don't enjoy doing that, go and get this little Shiv katana. Go and get this pet. Go and get, I don't know, go and get this sword. It's not hard to get any other item than this item. This item doesn't even look good with like 99% of the sets in the game. Like, nobody actually uses that as a cosmetic item. They use it for dealing damage in boss fights. Um, so if you don't want it, don't get it. You're not even going to use it half the time. Um, but if you do want it, you got to grind for it because it's the best weapon in the game. That's why you got to grind for it. So I can't agree with that one either. The game, the game is too hard to navigate. Like, they think that going in between rooms and going to different maps is too hard. Pointing like your mouse over somewhere and clicking is the easiest thing you could possibly do in life. You do it for any other game, just like in battle royales, you click, aim, and shoot. I feel like that's hard to navigate compared to this. And oh wait, you just have to learn that /join in space is the command to join any map name ever. It's not hard. You don't have to do anything. You just have to know how to type um and click. And I feel like everybody that sees this video or any video ever on YouTube or whatever platform knows how to do those things. And at the same time, maybe not actually, I just realized that that doesn't make too much sense. Typing and moving at the same time. I can't. But anyway, what I'm saying is this game is super easy to navigate, super easy to control. The enhancement system is super easy. All the game mechanics are so simple to understand. It's just they're not the best, so people don't like it, which is fair, but that again doesn't make it a bad game. Um, and one of the last points I want to go over here is people are mad that AE spent so much time and money and continues to spend so much time and money on AQW or on AQ3D and not AQW. I am also in this camp, honestly. I agree that they have gone too far into 3D and spent way too much time and effort on it when they needed to realize at the time of making AQ 3D is like that was the pinnacle, like pivot point of a lot of people jumping ship from AQ because they didn't like the direction that the team was going, aka they didn't like the direction AE was going with their product line and making a new game because they were so clicked and hung on to AQ that they just didn't like the aspect of having a new game funnel money away from the game that they like. I feel like that's how a lot of people feel. That's not necessarily how I feel. How I feel about the situation is that this game is honestly the best one that they've ever put out. AQW is the best game that AE has to offer, in my opinion. Um, and I feel like so many people love AQ that if AE just stopped when they were going to make AQ 3D and put all of that time and effort and resource into AQW, this game would have exploded. It would have been amazing, the things that they could have done with this game. But instead, they made AQ 3D, which is disappointing, but ultimately doesn't make AQ a bad game. Just because I don't agree that spending all this money and effort on AQ3D instead of AQW is a bad idea doesn't mean that AQ or AQ3D are bad games. I honestly enjoy both the games, and I just wish um, I just wish that AQW got a little bit more focus and a little bit more shine from AE. And I feel like that ties into a lot of these points that we've been going over, is that people think that it has bad game mechanics, people think that it has bad art style, people think that the community's dead, people think that AE doesn't care about the community or the game. Um, People think that the game is boring. People think that new players can't enjoy the game. There's too much grinding. It's too hard to navigate. All this stuff probably could have been alleviated by AAE just focusing solely on AQW. And I understand that they probably couldn't have done that because they need to move forward. They need to get rolling with everything else that's changing around them in the gaming community, in um, the corporations and things that they have to deal with, and everything in between that are things that they have to consider when they're moving forward with their business. And I think the AQ3D was honestly a good decision for them in terms of business, but in terms of community for specifically AQW, it wasn't that good of a move because we were really hoping that we would get the server rewrite. We would, if you guys remember, for a long time, the server rewrite was a big thing looming over our heads, like a dangling treat from AE. They kept teasing that, which in a way they did. They, moved clients over to a new engine that they made, and they made a bunch of quality of life changes to the options and things like that. So I think that their they have been on top of their game when it comes to updating AQ and keeping it alive, keeping it fresh, keeping it new, and keeping it fun for everybody to enjoy. Like every single Friday, there's a new event, or two even in a week. There's a new event. AE gives moderators and devs birthday events in game. Literally, Charlie, one of the biggest YouTubers or most popular YouTubers right now, got an event in game in AQ3D. That was the main event in a sub event in AQW. Things like that just don't happen in a lot of other games, and I feel like people don't recognize the amount of effort that AE goes through to create these unique individual items. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of items in the game that AE has created throughout the years that nobody really seems to respect enough to consider, like, just because it's flash art, that doesn't mean that it's bad art. It's community driven art and game developer driven art that they put into the game painstakingly over the years and years and years and years of this game's development. So I just feel like a lot of these opinions that people have, although I agree with some of them, most of them are irrelevant because they're coming from a place of from people who have not played the game and picked it up once when they were kids, stopped playing it because they didn't like the art style or the gameplay, and haven't played it since, looking back on nostalgic memories and saying that the game is bad compared to other games that they play today. Um, and the other side of that is coming from people who are frustrated with AE's development tactics on AQ3D instead of AQW. And I can agree with that in a way to an extent, but at the same time, I can't agree with it because AQ3D is, again, a game enjoyed by many people, and it's not a bad game. Just because they spend so much time and effort, and a lot of the creators that used to work on AQW moved to AQ3D, doesn't mean either game is bad. I want that to be the main takeaway that you guys get from this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing in the comments. Bye.